Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. We're going to have a quick look at Michael Matheson, a man who is incapable of fulfilling the role of Health Minister. Not only because he's completely stupid and inept, but also because he can't even concentrate on his job with everything else that's going on in his private life. Possibly looking at major problems at home after throwing his children under the bus, as well, of course, as the thought that now he's got the most awful degenerate stuff on his iPad, which he still refuses to hand over for inspection, despite claiming it was only football that was watched on it. If it was only football, he'd have no compunction. The fact he isn't leads us to suggest it's only because it's filled with the most degenerate filth, and he doesn't want that coming out. Then, of course, there's all the lies he's told, and, of course, the potential fraud as he attempted to steal money from the public purse. So all these things have come out, and of course he's referred himself to the corporate body for to see if he broke the ministerial code. Well, that report has apparently been finalised, but no one is saying whether he has seen it yet. Theoretically, once the report's finished, he gets a copy of it. Then he has 7 days with which he can respond, and then it's published. But of course, nobody wants to say whether he's been given it yet, so they don't have to start the clock ticking on those 7 days. Very, very sneaky once again, is it not? Everything about them is sneaky. We'll take a look at this to see why they are trying to hide whether he's even seen this report. Here goes. So, Scottish Parliament refuses to say if Michael Matheson has seen the findings of his data bill probe. But they... Why? What is wrong with just telling him, oh, we've finished it? Yes, we have handed it to him. It's because they know the moment they say that, there's 7 days and they've got to publish it. And they don't want to publish it. So if they can delay it as long as possible, maybe people will forget. Then maybe it'll be sneaked out at 3 a.m. in the middle of a report somewhere else. Oh, yes, we did publish it. By then, of course, time's moved on. But time has not moved on, and we need to know. We will find out. Somebody has to release it. I don't know why they think that people are so stupid, that we can't retain things that are important, like, did Michael Matheson attempt to defraud the taxpayer of £11,000? Now, whether he defrauded or not, if he even attempted it, that is a crime. The disgraced Health Secretary referred himself to the Scottish Parliament corporate body in November when he blamed his teenage sons for the eye-watering expense claim. And again, if he's had access to his sons to that iPad, that in itself is a crime. There's GDPR, there's all sorts of things. There's allowing unvetted people access to what could be state secrets. All sorts of problems with that. But of course, it's great that he throws his kids under the bus rather than accepts the responsibility himself. What a weak little man he truly is. It's actually that act, more than anything else. I think it was that act that made me loathe him as just a piece of human dross. Everything else you can deal with, but that, throwing your kids under the bus, that's just low, isn't it? Anyway, the Scottish Parliament has refused to say if Michael Matheson has seen the initial findings of Holyrood's probe into his attempted fraud, allegedly, of £11,000 via a data roaming bill. The disgraced Health Secretary referred himself to the Scottish corporate body because no one else is allowed to. That's a rule that needs to change. And that was back in November when he blamed his teenage sons for the eye-watering expense claim, which can be easily proved. Just hand your iPad over. We can look at the data usage and all that, and anyone can see it. If there was anything shady on there, that'll come out as well. Oh dear, that seems to be the real reason, doesn't it, Michael? We know. Sitting there alone, pants round your ankles. In a statement released following a meeting in December, the SPCB said that their provisional findings would likely be provided to the Minister in January 2024. However, neither Holyrood nor Mr Matheson would confirm if this had happened, and we now, of course, are in February, and nearly into the second week. And so... still hasn't announced whether he's got it or not. The Tories said it was high time we got a resolution to this matter. Scottish Conservative Chairman Craig Hoy said, the public were assured that this report would be given to Michael Matheson in January. We've now reached that point with the discredited Health Secretary still in his job. It's high time we got resolution to this matter. For some reason, Humza Yousaf is kissing his arse all the way. He should have fired him day one, but didn't, because obviously that requires balls, and old Ken doll don't have none of them. And so Matheson has somehow stayed in position. Now, the thing is, if this report shows that he did break the ministerial code and lied, that will reflect very badly on Humza Yousaf for keeping him in his position. But, of course, Humza Yousaf doesn't have the political nous to know that, because he's a very stupid man. But a lot of them in the SNP are very stupid. Anyway, Hoy continued, hard-working Scots will rightly expect answers about why this claim on taxpayers' money was ever made. And it's about time they were given them, and for this murky affair to come to an end. And it can only end with Matheson walking. There is no other way. If he doesn't walk, then what is the point? What is the point of it? You've got a criminal in charge. If it's found that he's broken the code and he doesn't walk, you've got a criminal sitting there as a minister. And that just proves what we said all along, that the SNP is basically just a criminal organisation. Anyway, the SPCB has pledged to investigate whether an improper claim was made by the member in respect of the charges or any part of them within the terms of the reimbursement of members' expenses scheme. This states that all claims must be made in good faith. He knows he didn't do that. And that MSPs are only entitled to the reimbursement of expenses which have been incurred only for the purpose of carrying out parliamentary duties. And he knows that. And he knows these weren't. They also make clear that an MSP should be open and transparent. Well, he's SNP, so that isn't going to happen, is it? As respects expenses claimed under the scheme, and minutes from December's meeting show that the members of the SPCB, Maggie Chapman for the Greens, you know, the one who wants to sexualise children, Tory Jackson Carlo, Labour's Claire Barker and the SNP's Christine Graham were keen to progress the investigation expeditiously. Well, not Maggot Chapman. She doesn't want anything like the truth to come out, especially about her. They also agreed that in line with fair and due process, the member would also be provided with a copy of the draft statement of provisional findings, together with copies of any material relied on in making them. Mr. Matheson would then have an opportunity to make further representations to be considered before it would finalise its findings, concluding the investigation. So basically, he has this period. They produce it, he sees it, then he responds, and then it should be finalised and published. No one is saying whether he's done that yet, because they're just trying to hide it. The expectation was that a period up to 2 weeks would again be necessary in the investigation's timeline for Matheson to respond. I believed it was only a week, but okay, it's 2 weeks. Even so, why aren't they saying whether he's got the report yet? When asked for an update, a Scottish Parliament spokesman told the Herald on Sunday the SPCB previously said its initial statement of provisional findings would likely be provided to the member in January 24. Work continues apace, and the SPCB will continue an update once it's appropriate to do so. He said, in the interest of fairness to all, it's made it clear it will not provide a running commentary. We're not asking for a running commentary. We want to know if it's been completed, or if it's been provisionally completed, and if so, has he had the opportunity to look at it? That isn't a running commentary. That is a state of where we are at. Yeah. A man under pressure. A man who cannot do his job. A man probably with marital problems right now, because his wife won't be keen that he's willing to throw his kids under the bus. A man out of depth. Meanwhile, patients are dying in droves on the waiting list because he can't do his job, because he's sitting there worrying constantly about whether he'll even have one. He shouldn't. He shouldn't have a job. He shouldn't have a job as a minister, and he shouldn't even have a job as a representative of the people. People do not need to be represented by fraudsters and liars. And potentially worse. Depends what's on that iPad. I'm coming up. Must be hard being Michael Matheson. You wake up every day wondering if today's the last one as an MSP. Wondering if today's the last one as a husband. Wondering if today is your last day even with a job. Or even if it's your last day without being arrested for attempted fraud. Worry, worry, worry. And of course, having all that on your mind means that on those few days when you do bother going into the office to have a look at the state of the health service, you sit there, look at the reports, put your head in your hands and weep because you know that it's failing on your watch. You think, Humza Yousaf is generally regarded as the worst health secretary ever. And you are about to make that a thing of the past as you take the record. What a failure your life has been. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and we'll keep watching to see when this report comes out. Because I reckon he's a crook. In my view, allegedly. Bye.